Welcome to this short discussion about Profit Builder, where you're going to see how small changes can lead to really big results in your business. Now, I want to share with you a statistic that is very close to my heart and is really that I'm so passionate about sharing Profit Builder with you. Now, studies have shown that for every 100 businesses that start up, only 20% of them actually get to celebrate their 5th birthday. Now that means that 80 businesses out of every 100 will fail. Now of the 20 that then remain, only 4 of those go on to celebrate their 10th birthday. Now that means that 96 out of every 100 businesses will fail within 10 years. Now I don't know about you, but I think that's shocking. The other statistic that goes hand in hand with this is that of the businesses that then do survive, only 4% of them actually cross the £1 million turnover threshold. So there's 96% of businesses that are operating below £1 million of turnover. And actually it's 80% of those that are operating at £500,000 or below. So for me, there are 2 key issues here. The first issue is one of survival. So, can I make it to my 10th birthday? The second issue is one of growth. Can I grow my business to an optimal level? So it really begs the question, what's the number one reason why businesses will struggle to first of all survive and then grow? Well, you could say it's cash flow. It could be lack of planning, the economy, team issues, or a lack of marketing. So any one of these may be a factor. But the number one reason is a lack of application of number understanding in decision making. So let me repeat that. The reason, or the number one reason why businesses will struggle to survive and then grow is down to a lack of application of number understanding in decision making. Now, what I mean by this is that when a business owner gets stuck or is faced with a problem, typically most won't look at the business finances or the right numbers. They're going to base their decisions based primarily on gut feel or so-called experience. And the risk with this is that when you make your decisions based on gut, it really is like flipping a coin. Yes, there's a 50% chance that you're going to get things right, but equally there's a 50% chance of getting things wrong. So we need to start looking at the key numbers that really will drive our business. And this is what Profit Builder forces us to do. Now, to help you understand Profit Builder, I want to introduce you to the concept of leverage. Now, leverage is a very powerful tool in business. And the definition of leverage is more with less. So anything that gives you more with less will give you leverage. Let me give you an example. A microphone gives you leverage. There is an input of the voice, and then there's an output, which is a higher output or a higher voice. The lever that you can see here in this picture gives you leverage. So we need to focus on the things that give more impact. So more with less time, less effort, and less money. Now that's what we're going to do here in this session. Now the five ways of the Profit Builder system is a leverage model. It's going to give you more impact in your business. So what's the common focus that every business has? So every conversation I've ever had with the owner of a company will ultimately cover these 3 areas of focus. We all want more customers. But if we scratch beneath the surface, we want more customers because ultimately we want more revenue, or we want more sales into our business. But again, scratch beneath that, really the driver is that we need to have more profit. That at the end of the day is the commercial business model, and I can't disagree with these being the three key areas of people's focus. And what is it that, the most important part of this clearly is the bottom line profit. It's Duncan Bannatyne, my favourite dragon on Dragon's Den. He's got a saying which I love, which is, revenue is for vanity, profit for sanity. So this is absolutely about how do we make sure that our businesses generate more profit. Of course, these areas of focus are important, but there is a danger in looking only at these numbers. Why do I say that? Well, these focus areas are quite simply just outcomes. You can't just get them. So you can't just have more customers, you can't just get more revenue, you can't just earn more profit, because they're the outcomes of other actions or activities. And really, this is what I want to spend the time looking at. What are the drivers of these outcomes, the things that we really actually want from our business? So let me just lay out the profit builder system, just in this very simple equation. And I really want us to focus on the simplicity of the system here. And I won't make any apology for it being quite so simple, because business should be simple. It's just that we somehow manage to complicate things. So let's just focus on the simplicity for now. In order for us to generate the kind of profit that we want ultimately, we need to start with our lead generation. So how many leads are we getting into our business? So this could be the inquiries that people make, the visits that they make to your store, your office, your website, estimates that you've been asked to provide, or quotes that you're currently working on. Now, our ability to then turn that interest into an order or into a sale, or our conversion rate, will determine how many customers our business will be serving. So once we have our customers, the job of any good business clearly is to make sure that we deliver great customer service, so that we ultimately can get our customers to come back and buy from us again. Again, I'm sure we'll all know the statistic which says that it's 6 times more expensive to go out there and find a brand new customer than it is for us to go out and make one of our existing customers buy from us again. So the number of times that our customers transact is going to be really important. How much they then go on to spend with us each time, so the average value sale, also is going to be an important factor in determining the revenue of our business. So if we take the customers that we've got, multiplied by the number of times they buy from us, multiplied by how much they spend with us each time, that gives us our revenue, or our level of sales in the business. And we'll all know what are the margins that we're working to. If we apply those to our revenue, then we'll determine how much profit we're ultimately making from our business. So that's the framework. And as I said just before I introduced it, I want us to hold on to the simplicity of this. It really is straightforward. And so I want to now bring that to life by way of an example. What we're looking at here now is really the tool that we would use as we sit down and go through your specific business. But if we just take this one as the example for now, just to really bring it to life. And I want you to focus just on the column that has the green arrow pointing down on it. So in this example, we've got a business which we know has got 2,400 leads. And of course, we know these numbers because one of the first things that we've done with this business is that we are tracking the numbers. We're testing and measuring, and we're keeping a good record of the numbers at each level or each way. So we've got 2,400 leads, and we know that 1 in every 3 of those leads will ultimately turn into an order, because we know that our conversion rate is 33%. So what that means is this business is serving 792 customers. Now, we also know that those customers will visit us twice in the course of a year. And each time that they visit us, they will spend £500. So that means that we've got a level of sales or revenue in the business of £792,000. Now, the gross profit is 25%, which means in absolute terms, our gross profit on sales of 792 grand is £198,000. But of course, that's not our take-home profit because we need to deduct the overheads of our business. So that gives us a net profit after we've taken off £120,000 of £78,000 of net profit, or 10% profit margin. So that's the business just now. What we now need to do, though, is look. What if we were actually to take each of these 5 ways? You'll see actually that the profit margin, or the margin percentage way, I've split actually into 2, so gross profit and overheads. But what if we were to actually just focus in on improving these areas by just a small amount at each stage? So let's take 10% across the board. If we were to take 10% improvement in each area, what kind of impact would that have? So let's just walk this through. Let's say, for example, we were managing to increase our level of lead flow by 10% because we've got much better at our marketing. So we're now clearer on our target market. We know who our ideal customer is, and therefore our marketing and our communication to that ideal group is much more effective. So we're getting now 10% more leads. Also, what we're working on is how do we then take that increase lead flow and convert them into customers. So again, we might have taken, for example, a look at the ways that we can actually put a simple guarantee in place that helps reduce the barriers to purchase. So we make it much easier for people to say yes to what we have to offer. We might also then look at what the sales process is for the business, so that we streamline things, so that when a customer or a prospect first comes into our business, they're taken through a process that ultimately helps them arrive at a purchase. So again, you can see how our customers then will now move up to 958. So again, an increase of 21% in our customer base. As I said earlier, what we then need to look at doing is saying, how do we improve our customer service so that we get people to come back and buy from us, another time? So in this instance, we're just looking at 10% increase. So we move up to 2.2 transactions over the course of a year. And we've done that because we've managed to work out a way of delivering better service. People want to come back to us. We might also have done some work around getting building our database so that we're talking through our mailing list to our clients much more effectively, much more regularly, encouraging them, reminding them to come back. The average sale value that we get from our customers also goes up by 10%, and we might have looked at some cross-selling opportunities. So let's say, for example, we're selling mattresses. Could we also then look at other complementary products that would go along with that kind of sale? So could we get people now to buy a pillow and a duvet, for example? That would be a cross-selling strategy we'd put in place. We might also look at upselling opportunities as well. And the most famous upselling strategy that I'm sure everyone will relate to is McDonald's. What's the one thing that you will always be asked in McDonald's? Would you like fries with that? Or put another way, is that a large, sir? So again, some really effective ways of actually just nudging up the average value sale. So all of a sudden you start to see now that your level of sales or revenue is now over the £1 million mark. So we're at let's call it £1.2 million. We apply our gross margin to that, which of course now has gone up by 10%, because we've looked at whether or not we are discounting. The last thing that you should be doing in business is is discounting. So again, by stopping discounting, but also looking at the individual margins on our products or services, can we encourage people to be buying more of our higher margin products or services? That then takes our gross profit up by 61% to 300 and let's call that £19,000. We've also then looked at the overheads and reduced the overheads by 10% by looking for some of the operational efficiencies within the business. Let's face it, is there some slack in our business? Is there maybe a little bit of wastage that we could eliminate? There's a process called TIMWOOD, or an acronym called TIMWOOD, that really allows us to look at 7 different ways, 7 different areas of our business to eliminate waste and really improve the efficiency of how we run our company. So by doing this, we then can see the impact that has at the bottom line profit. So in this instance here, we move our net profit up by 170%, which, let's be quite honest with you, for some people looking at this, it almost feels too unrealistic. But let's just remember, all we're doing here is looking at 10% improvement on each of the 5 ways. Now that might be too much for us to really get our heads around just now, but let me tell you, it really is possible. And we've got numerous examples of clients and customers who have delivered this kind of increase in their business. But let's kind of play things back quite severely. Let's just say that some of the areas there's no opportunity to improve. So let me just take away the actions on number of transactions, gross profit and overheads. And then also let's just say that our strategies that we've got on number of leads, conversion and average sale aren't as effective as the 10% that we've just quoted on the previous example. Let's just scale them right back. Again, still look at the bottom line impact on net profit. We can still, with very small increments in these areas, we can still deliver quite significant improvement on net profit. Now, hopefully you can start to see with this example that there is significant improvement that we can make in our business through looking at these 5 ways. Now, I also am very conscious of the fact that some companies have very different sides to their business, and what that means is that dependent upon the product or the service that's being sold, all of these numbers might actually differ. So the lead flow may differ. Conversion rates on, say, a regular subcontracting piece of business is going to differ from those on a one-off job. The average sale might also have very wide variation. It could be that you make sales for £10,000, but more of your business is on £500 jobs, and so on and so forth. The point here really is that there is an average in every business, and for the sake of simplicity, I've kept it to one set of numbers. But when we sit down and look at your business more specifically, then we'll be able to segment this into the key parts that make up your business. Now, the reality is that these 5 levers will determine the profits that you have in your business. Now, every business operates this framework. My business does, your business will, Richard Branson's will, Duncan Bannatyne's will. So any business operates to this framework. What you make of the framework really is up to you. But it's my encouragement that we make the most of it. So what would it mean to you to have your business working on strategies in each of these areas that would allow you to grow consistently year on year? Now, I don't know your goals. We haven't met yet. But do you want to expand? Do you want to acquire other businesses? What about franchising your current model? Or are you trying to prepare the business for the next generation in the family? Or do you just want to get the business ready for sale? Whatever your goals are, the one thing that's really clear to me is that it's not just about knowing this stuff. It's all about implementation. It's about taking action. So if you'll allow me to just be your coach for one more minute, I want to take you through the action points that I would be suggesting that you take as a result of looking at this clip. The first thing I'd like you to do is just to go back and have a good look at your numbers. Figure out what your current numbers are for each of the 5 ways. Now, it's really simple, but it's not easy, so it might take you a little bit of time to get to the numbers. The second thing is I'd like you to map out what your ideal numbers are. So think about how you'd like your numbers to look in the future. Now, you can do this exercise for whatever timescale you want, but I recommend that you do it for the next 12 months. Now remember, this isn't some detailed strategic plan, it's just a smart street plan that you're mapping out here. And then finally, I'd like you to identify the strategies that you feel would really start to shift the numbers. Okay, what's next? Well, look, I'm not a fan of free consultations or complimentary health checks or no obligation assessments. Because all these taglines really conjure up an expert idiot or teacher pupil scenario, with the person who makes the offer being the expert or the teacher. My offer is called Fresh Look Profit Builder Review, because that's just what it is. I'll help you take a fresh look at the parts of your business that build your profit. You know your business and industry far better than I do, so you'll know most of the answers, of course you will. And I'll give a fresh external perspective that comes from being an outsider to your industry, but also having seen things in dozens of other business sectors. And hopefully what you're going to agree is that between us, we should come up with a pretty cool plan for your business. So what I'd say is, please feel free to get in touch. The contact details are here. I really do hope that we meet up quite soon. All the best.